And it's a pity that the government ministers cannot be straight up. To my mind, there ain't nothing the government can do about that situation. Like I said, I know of no laws that have been broken, therefore where does the government come in? I don't know that Sandals is disposed to negotiate because those are business decisions according to Sandals. Did Sandals send a whole bunch of St. Lucians home and hired Jamaicans or something like that? Not to my knowledge. Apparently they sent home one set of St. Lucians, rewarded them, and employed in a different capacity a similar number of St. Lucians. I think they call it outsourcing. I want to tell you, Talk City, outsourcing is going to be a major headache. We have a lot of headaches coming up in this new arrangement. This WTO, this CSME, this no borders situation. We have not prepared ourselves for that. Our governments, whole Caribbean, have not prepared people for that. You know, Vaughan Lewis, I don't know if he'll take it back now because everything is water under the bridge, but Vaughan Lewis said several years ago when he was Prime Minister, first budget address, perhaps the only truth Vaughan Lewis ever spoke, was that St. Lucia's workforce, as it was back in whatever year it was there with him, was not fit for today's menial work. And take that and smoke it. Our workers are going to have a tough time, very, very tough time. CSME, all these wonderful things we talk about, there are the serious repercussions that the politicians don't want to talk about, cannot talk about, because it will be to, in fact, admit that the power they used to bandy about, or the power they pretended to have, gone. Politicians don't really matter. Governments, at the end of the day, especially in poorer countries, don't really matter anymore. Corporate is what matters these days. Corporate, big business is what matters. That's the way the world is going. I remember reading chapter after chapter on this show about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, from a book called The Silent Takeover. And it was all about WTO. It's all about how little countries, even Africa, let alone St. Lucia, never mind how the politicians prance and whatever and pretend they have some power and influence. In the real world of the WTO, they can't even get into the meeting place. They stand outside, or they pick up information from reporters who are privileged to be inside. We don't count. That's the way it is with small. That's the way it is. And that's the way, too, when we have a bunch of leaders all over the OACS pretending to be big boys, when in fact what they have is a powerless power, a meaningless power. I don't know what can be done for the alleviation of the workers' problems right now. I suspect unions have had it. I suspect unions have had it. What unions used to do, we have to re-examine what did the unions do in their heyday. I'm not going to go down that road tonight. I don't have time for it. And what can the unions do now? Like today, I was by the CSA, and I was listening to the dismissed workers, very angry, talking among themselves in the microphone. It was almost funny, except it wasn't funny at all. It was more pathetic because those workers were venting to each other how they truly felt. You can tell they were hurt. You can tell they felt very badly. You can tell they felt helpless. These people have commitments at the bank. Those people have to pay rent. They have their children to go to school. They have the children to feed. There is medicine to pay for, never mind universal health. These people need work. And their work has been taken away from them. Taken away from them. And so the union representatives do the usual talk, pep talk, and let's see, we're going to find out. We can't tell you yet what's going to happen, but something is going to happen. Don't lose faith. Nothing going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. And I say so, not with any glee, not with any gloating. It's the way of the world. It's where we have been going for a long time. It's where the politicians should have been talking to St. Lucians about that, but they didn't. And now, it's very, very interesting. What do you do about Butch Stewart and Sandals? Has he broken the law? If he has broken the law, why hasn't the law taken action? Has he done anything that the Labour Commissioner can do anything about? I don't know. I haven't heard. Will the Prime Minister intervene? I don't know. And right now, the Prime Minister, people are looking to the Prime Minister to intervene. Intervene in what? I don't know yet. But then the government did make a big fuss about intervening in Wyndham. The Wyndham, whatever it was. I thought that was a mistake. I thought it was a mistake from the point of view not so much of the Prime Minister serving as an intermediary and helping out and arriving at some kind of good conclusion for the workers and employer, the hotel. But I thought it was wrong to publicize that and made a big deal about it, because they did do it. Made a big deal about the Prime Minister's successful intervention. And it wasn't Philip Pierre, Tourism Minister, who did it either. It was Kenny Anthony who did it, the Prime Minister. So the Prime Minister came out as being the guy who can walk on water. So it's not so outrageous if the sandals workers now expect